You're watching Cartell TV and I'm Simone.
Even though the official Hyundai website in Australia lists the NEXO as coming soon, the first 20 cars have already landed in Australia. And it's widely known they will be part of the Australian government fleet.
Now, at a surface level, this doesn't mean much to a person looking into buying the NEXO, but think about what this means.
You see, the NEXO is a hydrogen car. They aren't very common on this planet, there's little infrastructure to support them, and the available info comes from fuel cell enthusiasts and manufacturers, both clearly subjective when it comes to the potential, so not really very critical of the practical use.
However, while us mere non-Australian government mortals can't buy one of the first 20, the fact that the officials are including these in their fleet means that
the Australian government is ready to back hydrogen cars in some way.
Perhaps they're telling us that they like them, or that they believe in them, or more critically, that there will be infrastructure around the country to back up the first hydrogen refuelling station in Canberra.
We're also wondering if perhaps there'll be buying incentives introduced, like most of the zero-emissions car owners from around the world get from their governments.
Now that would be nice, and long overdue.
Anyway, whatever the reason, our government clearly knows more than we do. At least I hope so. And they're including the NEXO in their fleet.
Now, aside from all the attention-grabbing fuel cell talk, the NEXO also merits a closer look due to its other features.
It's a futuristically styled SUV, which are very popular in the world right now. It's packed with advanced smart driving assistance systems and the latest autonomous driving tech, and it has a 5-star ANCAP rating. Even without the hydrogen tech, the NEXO sounds like an interesting machine.
The NEXO looks like a mixture of the latest design trends from Hyundai, enhanced with a futuristic flair, which is quite fitting.
Everything on it looks familiar from the latest Hyundai models, but it's definitely a step up on them.
The big grille that narrows down as it descends works perfectly with the slim lights, and the trim line between them that holds the badge.
The creases on the bonnet perfectly follow the same line as the headlights and are angled in a way that complements the line of the narrowing grille. And then the lines broaden again as they reach the bottom for a more aggressively stanced look, further aided by these faux air intakes on the sides.
Honestly, someone worked really hard on designing this front.
The rear is less elegant, but very nice looking. All in all, the NEXO is a modern SUV, not something that would look out of place on the road today and in the next few years.
Expectedly, this is an electric vehicle, so there isn't a traditional engine. In fact, this engine only has 6 moving parts. And when it comes to your servicing, the only thing it involves is a routine safety check. The only thing that you may need to replace is the air filter. Depending on where you live, that could be as often as up to once a year. But in beautiful places like Australia where our air quality is so good, who knows?
The motor pushing the front wheels provides 120 kilowatts of power and 395 newton meters of torque. There is no all-wheel drive version yet. The NEXO has the official WLTP range of 666 kilometers for a pretty devil-may-care drive. The European cycle seems less devilish and more optimistic, claiming about 800 kilometers of range.
As you can see, I'm driving the NEXO right now, and though you may try and read how I feel about it from my face, I'm actually not allowed to say anything about the driving experience of the NEXO at all, just yet. Just in case they've bugged this car, I'm really not allowed to say anything about the driving dynamics. What I can do is try and go around this by giving you some general and officially available info about how hydrogen cars work and how that and the officially available numbers might perhaps translate to the driving experience of the NEXO, which I'm not going to talk about at all.
You see, completely generally speaking, with no relation to the NEXO, electric motors deliver all the torque from 0 revs.
There's no need for rev build-up in those cars.
This is why driving some higher-powered electric cars is so super exhilarating. The push in those cars is instant and amazing, whether you're flying away from a traffic light or overtaking a slower vehicle.
And I'm not even talking exclusively about beastly vehicles like the Tesla Model S.
The Kona Electric we tested a while back was really awesome to drive. The IONIQ Electric was less thrilling, but also nice.
I can talk about the EV Kona and the IONIQ, right?
So, with this general EV talk planted in your minds, let me tell you how hydrogen cars work.
You pour hydrogen gas into your car as fuel. Now, this one has 3 tanks, and considering that your barbecue gas bottle at home has about 9 kilos of propane, this only takes 6.3 kilos and can take you 666 kilometers, and only takes 3 to 5 minutes to fill up, if you can find a filling station.
That hydrogen is combined with oxygen via an air compressor, which through some chemical mumbo-jumbo produces electricity and water.
Electricity is used to push the wheels, and water is the equivalent of exhaust gases in internal combustion engines, with only water and purified air coming out of the exhaust. Yeah, no turbo spooling here.
Other readily available and free to distribute information I can give you is that
Fuel cells are located up front above the front wheels, so there's some extra weight there, and hydrogen tanks are located over the rear wheels.
lastly, like all Hyundai models, it's rumoured to have a special Aussie tune for our roads.
Now, let's do an exercise. Combine this with the power figures I gave you and try and imagine how the NEXO feels to drive. We'll be sure to let you know if you were right in a subsequent video as soon as we're allowed to.
Expectedly, the NEXO is plush and futuristic on the inside. As a bonus, it's also very spacious and comfortable.
It has horizontal dashboard elements and an angled central console. It looks clean and elegant, and also there's substantial storage space under the controls.
Speaking of which, there are many buttons here, but they're organised well and pretty easy to use after a while.
Expectedly, the tech in the infotainment is awesome.
And while it has all the favourites like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and a crisp reversing camera, something else I do want to point out is the ability to estimate how much air you purify every time you drive it.
Wow, and just wow. That's right, the combustion process used by the NEXO to generate power for the battery actually purifies air, and an estimate of how much air is displayed at the end of each journey. Why aren't we all driving these right now?
Now, while you drive your almost silent Eco Warrior, you can enjoy Beats with the award-winning Krell audio system, which is just brilliant. The steering wheel design is based on a similar idea, though less elegant than in the GB80.
It also has the combo of this large infotainment screen in the centre and this elegant driver info screen.
Once again, similar to the GB80, you get these blind spot cameras that feed the picture into the driver information display when you use the indicators. And I've already mentioned the existence of autonomous driving tech, but we'll give it a proper review once we can talk about actually driving the NEXO. The rear seats give enough room for 3 occupants.
Sitting in the rear, you've got a few perks such as these cushioned and heated seats. You've got your armrest with cup holders and a lower floor tunnel.
The boot has the capacity of 471 litres and the entrance is wide with next to no load lip.
Now, no load lip on an SUV often also means that the boot floor is a bit high, and that's also the case here.
I have to point out that the 3-tank setup instead of one huge tank makes the world of difference for the space in the rear seats and the boot.
It seems that the only issue with the NEXO is the fact that you can't refuel it at every corner, yet. And the range does take away a lot of that anxiety. What we know now is that there is a refueling station in Canberra to be fully operational at the time of the official launch of the NEXO, which will be before the end of the year. And as you've already seen, here at Hyundai's headquarters, there is one in Sydney, and there'll be 2 more by the end of the year in Brisbane and also in Melbourne. And of course, other stations planned for New South Wales, South Australia, WA and Tassie.
The station in Sydney has been running since 2015 and it was open to all hydrogen cars, not just Hyundai. This was their attempt to make the technology more present and accelerate building of the network. Additionally, the federal government taking action in this respect really makes it look like the infrastructure will not be so much of an issue in the coming years. As for the NEXO itself, it's difficult to compare it with competition as fuel cell cars are so rare nowadays.
In this segment, it feels like there's no real competitor, and compared to non-hydrogen cars, it's also very good. So we just need to find out what the price points will be and whether they can enter the market affordably.
It looks great, it offers great tech and space, it's very safe and packed with features, and it drives, well, right now you can only imagine how it drives.
In any case, the NEXO is a game changer, and I feel very privileged to have been one of the first to drive it. But it's one of those things, now that I've driven it, I want a hydrogen car and I want to see more of them on our roads. Thanks for watching CarTell TV. Now, I don't know about you, but I am super excited about the NEXO and hydrogen vehicles in general. And I think they're exciting not just for the eco warriors among us, but also for people who are in love with the performance of EVs in general. So let us know what you think, leave your comments below, and you'll see me in my next video.